paying $18.3 million in a buyout with every second that goes by that we don't have an answer.
Yep, it seems like they're probably just negotiating a settlement. Personally, I don't blame him for digging in. I'd try to get every penny. I don't think he deserves to be fired after the first year. I think it's ridiculous. Personally, I don't consider this, and it might be after his second season is in the books, but I don't think this is a Chad Morris disaster situation.
Right.
It might be, but you have to let it play out. But, he's been on social media, he's been smeared as far as his personal reputation. Well, I'm not going to go into it, but I think if you've paid attention,
yes,
you've seen enough of it. And you better have proof of that, first of all. And, that's kind of, now that you read people you trust and people who know the situation, I think people understand they don't have that leg to stand on as far as trying to not pay him at all, and then something of that nature. Now they're trying to do that and say that he mistreated his players, he mistreated his coaches, and they're trying to fire him for cause. But I can guarantee you this: they're not going to fire him for cause and give him nothing.
Well, no, and here's the thing: you don't want to fire him for cause if you're the Boosters, because the one thing we've learned in situations like Kansas and UConn, where they tried to do similar things, this is going to go to court.
Yeah,
if it goes
I
to court,
agree.
If it goes to court, the Boosters, everybody behind the scenes is going to get exposed. A lot of things are going to come out in court that you don't have to come out now and say. Brian Harsin, in an article with ESPN, said, and I quote,
Yep.
"This place is not going to be a championship program until we change some things. You've got to look at the head coach, or you've got to let the head coach be the head coach and support him." Right now, he's not getting a lot of that support from the Auburn Boosters. Over the weekend, several current players and former players have come to, I guess you could say, the aid of Brian Harsin. I'm going through Tony Fair said that, summing it up best, that Coach Harsin gave us nothing short of hard work. He brought a competitive edge to everything we did. What head coach runs with his players while they're conditioning? He did this. The only word to describe what Coach Harsin is doing is chemo. Those cancers will be gone. He went on to say the record we got didn't come from his coaching. It came from the cancers on the team that spread and are still spreading. This is what we dealt with this season.
Well, and I do think there's always some blowback. And that's the reason I think he deserves to at least have a couple of years to get his guys in there.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, and I said this at the end of last week. If they beat Alabama, which they dominated and controlled it for 59 minutes, really. I mean, they held Alabama out of the end zone. Now, they didn't play well offensively. If they had, they would have won comfortably. Alabama's defense stood up. But they had a golden opportunity to beat Alabama. If you beat Alabama and you win the bowl game to end the season and say you finish 8-5, we're not having this conversation at all. It would not have mattered if Derek Mason left. It would not have mattered if he still decided to fire Bobo, which he probably would have.
Yeah.
Because they still probably it would have been an ugly win over Alabama, but a win. And then even if they won the bowl game, it's probably not pretty. I don't know if Bo Nix would have stayed. Probably not, because I think he felt like he didn't fit under that staff. But again, if you go 8-5, if you beat Alabama, it just totally changes the feel of everything. Then even with Bo Nix leaving, even with coaches leaving, even players, they would have beaten their in-state rival. They would have won a bowl game, and then. And they would, and again, the recruiting class wasn't great. It's 8th in the SEC, but it's still top 20 in the country. And I don't know if it probably would have changed some things. They might have got a kid or two on the second signing day, but I just don't think we're even having this conversation if they had won those last couple ball games. And they had leads in both of them. Really, they had leads in the last 5.
Right.
But if they just win the last 2, because everybody knows what the Iron Bowl means in this state, and then everybody knows that, winning a bowl game gives you momentum, then we're not even having this conversation. Then it's, well, he's running the program his way. We're going to let him do things his way. And then, we'll see if he can turn the program. Because let's not forget, Bruce Pearl in basketball, who right now has the number 1 team in America, the best team in the country, they've won 19 in a row. He had 2 losing seasons to start his Auburn tenure before he really got it rolling. Now, there's different expectations in Auburn basketball than football. And when he took over that program, I understand that.
Right.
But the thing is, I just think Harsin deserves at least 2 years. And then if you have back-to-back losing seasons, we saw what happened with Chad Morris. We know the climate is different in the SEC now. Then you can move on. But to me, I just think what this reeks of is the boosters and the power brokers and some people that didn't want him to begin with.
Right.
And then when he lost 5 in a row and lost to Alabama the way they did, heartbreaking fashion, and then you lose the bowl game, and then on top of that, you got players leaving like a Bo Nix, and you got so many going into the portal, and then you got the coaches leaving as well, and then the Austin Davis situation. I just think overall there's some people panicking, thinking, okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. We've got to step in. And, of course, the recruiting is the last straw because they didn't get anybody on the signing date, and I think they're concerned because this 2023 class is so good in the state.
Yes.
But they're already behind anyway. And here's the thing. If you dismiss Harsin after a year, right now with the timing of it all, because spring practice is a month and a half away, you're hiring a coach at a weird time where everybody's already filled their jobs. It's harder to get a coach to leave right before spring practice. So
you're not going to get one of these A-list coaches.
It's the timing of the situation.
Right.
And then the environment you're going into.
Who wants to come? I mean, the question is who would want to come to Auburn and put up with what Brian Harsin's had to put up with in less than a year.
Last year before they hired Harsin from Brent Venables, and it was brought up again this weekend. Venables told people, I could have had the Auburn job before they hired Harsin. But he said, I didn't trust the environment. In other words, am I going to be able to run the program the way I see fit? And let me say something. Alabama had these issues before the powers that be finally realized they had to hire Nick Saban.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they went through the
but they didn't. I mean, we all know that Rich Rodriguez was.
Well, no, but I'm just even saying before that.
Right.
When Gene Stallings was there, he had a good 7-year run. But then when Coach Stallings abruptly retired, you had the Mike DuBose thing where the fans got their way. It was unmitigated disaster.
Right.
And then they hired Dennis Franchione from outside the box. He did a good job, but here's the problem. He wasn't built for it. He didn't have the intestinal fortitude to stay because of the sanctions and the pressure. He'd never been at a place like Alabama, so he cuts and runs to A&M and ruins his career. So what does Alabama do? They go back to the well with an alum. It was a disaster.
Mike Shula.
Of course, he was having to navigate sanctions, but he just wasn't a head coach.
Right.
And then you finally are realizing, like Mal Moore was quoted as saying, it was a critical time in Alabama football history. We had to get it right. And they got it right with Nick Saban, and they got out of the way.
Is this a more critical time for Auburn than it was before they hired Brian Harsin?
It definitely is, because you want to put somebody in place. Nick Saban can't coach forever, okay?
Right.
And much like Auburn was at a critical space, in a critical time, when Doug Barfield got let go and they hired Coach Dye, because it was at the end of when Coach Bryant was his tenure, when he was, everybody realized that he was it was a short time. And at that time, Alabama was dominating Auburn. But they hired the right guy in Pat Dye, who pounced, and for a period of time, Auburn was the best program in the SEC. And see, that's what you're trying to do now. You're trying to get the successor in place for the long term. And I don't know if Auburn can do that. Maybe they can pull a rabbit out of their hat, but to me it's very uncertain right now what they can do, because – and then, again, with Harsin, I do think it was a bad fit, okay? When he was hired, I was surprised.
Right.
Because he's a West Coast guy. He had only coached at Arkansas State for a year. The Mountain West or whatever is not the SEC. See, Nick Saban, when the Alabama hired him from the Dolphins, he'd already been at LSU. He was already very familiar with the conference. And then if you hire a Brent Venables, say you had gotten him to take the job, he's at least been in Power 5 football his whole career.
Understands the high
Yeah,
end
I
of
think he would understand of it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I just thought it was a peculiar fit, but you still got to give the guy a shot. And then don't forget, halfway through this season, or a little over half, 2/3, Auburn was 6-2 and ranked 12th in the country. Everything looked like it was kosher. It's just that second half of Mississippi State happened, and things seemed to tank. It was similar to Nick Saban because he was 6-2, and then they tank, but he won the bowl game to go 7-6. But see, he had more. I guess he already had a national championship on his resume.
Well, his recruiting class going in from year 1 to year 2 gave a lot of optimism that things were going in the right direction.
He was already a proven commodity as a college coach on the big-time level. Brian Harsin is not. And here's the other part of the uncertainty, too. If the power brokers get their way later today or this week and Brian Harsin resigns, it almost certainly is the end for Allen Green. Okay, Scott? He's in the last year of his contract. Right. They have not extended him. So if you're trying to hire a coach, you don't even know who your athletic director is going to be. Heck, your new president doesn't take office until May 2 because Jay Gouge is retiring. The whole thing is in flux right now. As Philip Marshall said this weekend, there's not a lot of stability at all. So it's a very interesting time.
All right, 256-576-4977. Your thoughts are welcome this morning on the situation. If Brian Harsin had a better recruiting class, if it was top 5, top 4 in the SEC right now, because if it's top 4, then you're top 10 in the country easily. If he's top 4, are we talking about this?
Probably not. But the biggest thing is the games they should have won. I still think even if they win the last 2 games against Alabama and Houston. But, of course, if they beat Alabama, they're not even playing in the Birmingham Bowl. They probably would have played in another bowl. But if they had won the last 2 games, I still don't think it would matter. Because, again, the recruiting class is not spectacular, but it's not horrific. It's it's in the top 16 to 20 in the country. So, and then they were still going to try to add guys out of the transfer portal after spring practice. I can almost guarantee you that. So, again, because I don't think anybody – I know, he didn't take them through a bowl and whatnot, but look at Brent Venables at Oklahoma. They lost a lot of guys. They lost 2 top-flight quarterbacks. Had to go get Dylan Gabriel from UCF.
Yeah.
And so nobody's talking about that. And if he goes 6-7 in his first year at OU, I don't see them firing him. They're very familiar with him. He was one of them before. And so that's the issue. If the only way that Brian Harsin would be surviving this, to me, is if at one time or another he had been at Auburn, like Gus Malzahn was. But see, Gus was the outlier, though. He went to the national championship game his first year. That doesn't happen very often. Usually it's a rebuilding year, and then you try to get it rolling in year 2, and then really get your program established in year 3. That's even with the changing timelines and all the money, that's usually what they want to see. But Gus Malzahn came in and took over a 3-9 team, and they ended up going to the national championship game. So, but he was also hired because he was the offensive coordinator on the 2010 national championship team. Most times when Auburn makes hires, it's someone that is either worked at the school before or has a direct tie to maybe Pat Dye or to the program overall. Brian Harsin had none. He's the first guy that they've really hired that had no ties even to the SEC.
Well,
and so that's I think the fit has been the big issue the entire time.
All right, it is 7:20 here on a Monday morning. We are live from Bill Penney Toyota, and coming up later this morning, you'll have a chance to join the show. 256-576-4977. As we did mention, we will go over some of the good, the bad, the ugly from college basketball over the weekend, and in fact, David Sisk will join us when we come back from break to do just that. Let's go over some of the good, the bad, the ugly from college basketball, especially when it comes to the SEC next.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning. Had a wreck on Vermont Road at Chris Drive. That one reported as an injury type. May still be working on it. Looks like that's our only problem right now. Everything else is wide open. Traffic level heavy. You be careful on your ride in this morning. Got a reunion coming up. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with 2030 Fast Track. 2030huntsville.com for info. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
What began in a backyard in the 1920s is still going strong today. In this area, the name Gibson means barbecue. And even after over 65 years in Huntsville, Gibson's is trusted for delicious barbecue pork, chicken, ribs, freshly baked pies, and the best breakfast in town. Family owned and operated for 4 generations. Gibson's Barbecue, South Parkway in Huntsville, and online at gibsonsbbq.com. Gibson's Barbecue, Huntsville's best since 1956.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends February 28th. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I love overpriced stuff. Avocados, designer t-shirts, artisanal water. That's why I get my internet from the other guys. Paying more for the same stuff. What could be better?
Wow is better. For just $19.99 a month, we give you the super fast, extra reliable internet you need. Act now before this deal is gone. Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, learn how to get up to $300 on us. Sign up at Huawei.com.
Wow.
Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
When we say local, we mean local, not Birmingham.
Loser.
We are the only sports talk station in Huntsville. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got a magical glow.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Hey, welcome back to Talkin Ball at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are live from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department on this Monday. Don't forget they're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 256-837-1111 to get your car serviced here at the Bill Penney Service Department, and kind of going over some of the good, the bad, the ugly from over the weekend when it comes to SEC basketball. The good, Auburn remains unbeaten in league play, 19 straight wins. Didn't look pretty against Georgia, but a lot of things have not looked pretty at Georgia this year when it comes to college basketball. A win is a win any way you can get it. Alabama stumbles against Kentucky at home. Dreadful three-point shooting from the Tide.
No, it's dreadful shooting it overall, Scott. I mean, I've been covering Alabama for a long time. It's probably the worst shooting performance I can ever remember. They shot less than 30% as a team. I mean, it was bad. It was just one of those things where everybody kept focusing on 3 for 30 from 3, but they missed about 15 layups. I mean, they could not get anything to drop. Not, I heard people say, well, if they'd shot mid-range jumpers, they might have had. They couldn't make a layup. So how the hell is a mid-range jumper going to help?
Yeah.
They couldn't throw it in the ocean, okay? It's basketball. Kentucky's a really good basketball team. Love Ty Washington. Love watching him. And, and we're going to
But the other ugly, though, would have to be LSU, what's going on there. The Tigers were started the SEC season really good. They now have stumbled. Vanderbilt gets the best of LSU over the weekend. So a lot of good, a lot of ugly from over the weekend.
I think Alabama was ugly with the way they shot, but I got to give the bad has got to be LSU because they go on the road to Memorial Gym. They lose 75-66. They also lost at home to Ole Miss earlier in the week. So Western Union did not have a good week at all. I mean, there's some refunds going out to some people probably. I mean, they weren't very good. So LSU is going to definitely be out of the top 25. Alabama's not going to be there. But the bad was LSU. The ugly, though, is Alabama. And we're going to talk about that and some more SEC basketball with our next guest. It was an honor to see him. We've featured him during basketball season for the last few years without a question. He works for Rivals.com covering Kentucky. He also covers really the SEC as a whole. And it was great to see David Sisk on Press Row. And he's now been good enough to join us and talk some SEC basketball this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, you're with Drew and Scott once again in Huntsville. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Speaking of ugly, here's David Sisk.
I would disagree with that, Coach. Come on, but
I know a segue when I see one now.
Yeah, that was a good, clean one right there.
Good, clean one, yep.
We're kind of going over some of the good, the bad, the ugly from SEC basketball over the weekend. Coach, what's some of the good and bad and the ugly from your perspective?
Well, I guess the good and the ugly, you have to start with Auburn. I mean, they're going to be number one in the poll for the third straight week. And one thing about that program, I've seen all I needed to see from them, from the Auburn program, since they beat Kentucky and moved to that number 1 ranking, because, there was talk about Louisville when Chris Mack was let go. And, Auburn stepped to the plate and said, hey, we're serious about basketball. There's a commitment there with facilities, with a fan base, with money. And, also, I think Bruce Pearl would be crazy to leave, because I don't think it's a mistake that he's number 1 right now in the same year that Georgia won a football national championship, because the bottom line is Bruce Pearl and Kirby Smart, what they have in common is they both got the state of Georgia locked down with talent. And if you do that, you can compete for the whole 9 yards every year. So, just no surprise to that roster, what they're doing. And, I look for them to keep rolling.
Well, and Coach, I know you were in, as we said, you were in Tuscaloosa for that Kentucky game. Calipari's team, I think they're the second best team right now in the SEC. Arkansas probably a close third with the role they're on as they continued their good play, getting a win over Mississippi State on Saturday at home in Fayetteville. But Kentucky did a great job locking down Alabama, though I felt like Alabama had the looks they wanted, both at the rim and from the three-point line. But in basketball, as we've seen, it can be a cruel game. The ball just doesn't go in the basket. But first, I wanted to get your thoughts on Cal's team at Kentucky. As you pointed out to me in the warm-ups before the game, Cal has done what great coaches do. He's pivoted his philosophy a little bit, especially with the transfer portal the way it is. This is probably the oldest team. It is the oldest team that Cal has ever had at Kentucky.
Yeah, and, he said that he was going to start going after the transfer portal the same ferocity he does recruiting high school. And, you look at that Sheboy transfer, Toppin transfer, Mintz transfer, Wheeler transfer, Grady transfer. So, he's really done a good job there and found the players that really fit what he wanted to do. So, he's changed that, but playing style too. In the past, it was walk it up, run a set. And, to be honest with you, I've seen them lose to better teams in a tournament, not because of bad coaching or anything like that, but maybe overcoaching. Just always trying to run something offensively and trying to run the right play, and it just slowed the pace down. And you can see it this year. He's letting them get out and run. Obviously it wasn't a Picasso by either team Saturday night, but you can see how they push the ball, make or miss. They're going to make the other team sprint back defensively, and then they're into that dribble drive quickly. And one thing watching them in person that really sticks out is, how hard they cut in that dribble drive. And by the time they get the ball in their hands off the handoff or the pitch, they're in a full sprint with the ball. So, really in philosophy and in recruiting, a little bit of a change and a little bit more of adapting to what we're doing in the modern-day game.
What kind of led to that game not being a Picasso that you referred to it as?
I think Alabama defensively was good. Some people may be down about the performance, but I felt like they played hard. I felt like they really defended. On the other end, you had to work for what you got. A lot of things were contested. I thought they had a good game plan. They went over the ball screens and played drop coverage with their bigs, and they made Kentucky guards shoot the mid-range jumper. They weren't going to let them get to the rim. That's not up Severe Wheeler's alley. His is getting all the way to the rim, but it is up Ty's alley. And you could see in the second half that he started playing to his strengths a little bit. And I'll tell you something else, too. Alabama's long. Charles Bediako gave Oscar fits inside. He was just too long for him. And Oscar, he still had, I think, 10 points, 15 rebounds. But, he struggled inside around the rim because of that length. So I thought Alabama had a good plan defensively. On the offensive end, Alabama got up 9-1 early.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and it's 15-10, and I'm thinking, man, Alabama's doing good right now, only be down 5. It seems like they should be down 10 or 12. And then they take the lead, and then in the second half it gets up to double figures, and I'm saying, well, you remember that stretch when there was all the empty possessions? One team would turn it over, the other team would turn it over, one team would miss a shot, the other team would miss a shot, and I'd say, if Alabama, they only need to make 2 or 3 threes. They get this thing close with its home crowd, and it's anybody's ball game. But, they never could make the shot. So I don't think either team was sharp, but it was a physical game. The referees let them play some, at least through about the first 30 minutes. And, it never did seem like either team offensively could get in sync.
Well, and then with your Alabama, and you go from here, they're 14-9 now, Coach, 4-6 in the SEC. They've played the most difficult schedule in the country. They just got through playing 3 straight top 5 teams. They got 1 win over Baylor in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, but they dropped the game at Auburn 100-81, and then they lose this one 66-55. If you're Nate Oates and his team, they out-rebounded Kentucky, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
They had 15 turnovers, which they'd probably like to cut them down a little bit, but I thought that was respectable. They just didn't make shots, but where do you go from here? Is it a situation where I thought that they ran stuff which got them looks, but the ball just didn't go in? How do you kind of – I guess I was asking Coach Oates this after the game. How do you kind of play psychologist and get your team's confidence back offensively?
Being a psychologist is a big part of coaching. And as the season goes, it's drudgery. It's long. I coach high school ball here in Tennessee, man. And I feel like when November comes, I'm like in prison. I'm Xing days off the calendar, till March, and it's just where it just wears down. And it's like people may say, "Well, I don't believe that the player and coach." Well, trust me, it is a long. Basketball is long, and it's in any sport. Some teams get better, some teams get worse. So you really got to find a way to keep them invested. They've still got the NCAA tournament to play for. They got so many quad 1 wins and good wins. They just need to get on a streak. And the thing is, they don't have to beat top 5 teams that they play anymore. They've got a lot of those wins. They just need to win the games that they're supposed to win, and they've still got a chance to get to 20. And, like we said, beat Baylor, beat Gonzaga, and have those great wins. So I think just convince them that, hey, you still got a lot to play for. If you've proven you get in this tournament, you would be a team nobody wants to play because you beat the best teams in the country.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's look around the rest of the SEC. We mentioned LSU, Will Wade and company going through. You mentioned how long the season can be. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, peaks and valleys. Right now, Will Wade and the LSU Tigers in one of those deep valleys.
Yeah, man, it's like New Orleans, it's below sea level. And I've said this. I really don't have a huge problem in a way Will Wade recruits, simply because there's so much of it goes on in college basketball. And now with NIL going on, it's impossible to cheat. I mean, it's just full-fledged free agency. But I've just never thought he was an outstanding coach. I've just watched him a lot of games, and it just looks to me like offensively they just kind of rolled the balls out. It was isolation basketball, and then defensively they'll try to match up in zones or something like that. They've always given up a lot of points. I thought it might be a little bit different this year, watching them play early because they defended so well, but they've started to revert, and obviously Xavier Pinson being out, that really sent them spiraling the wrong way, and now they're having a hard time getting it back. I didn't know how good they were offensively all the way along. I thought they won low-scoring games. But I tell you what, losing at Vanderbilt is not a crime like a lot of people might think it is. I watched them. They're getting people back. They've got a good roster this year. It's the first time in a couple of years that they've had players on their roster that look like SEC players. They're physical. They got the big kid that transferred in from Minnesota, the 7-footer. They've got a guard that's eligible that they've been waiting on. They got a good roster. And I know Calipari said after they played them up there, he said, I'm glad we don't have to play them again. Because, man, it's a football game. They are really, really physical. So, they got on that home court, and they played that way, and LSU didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, they really didn't. And then, Coach, with Kentucky, I know you've been following them closely. that we said this is Cal's oldest team. What are your thoughts? I think they're the second best team in the SEC, but certainly that's going to be quite a matchup with Auburn traveling to Arkansas Tuesday.
Yes, one thing I've said about them is earlier in the year and before the year started, I didn't know with guys like Mintz and Grady and all them on the floor, and Alabama was one of the teams that I brought up that really kind of stood out. I said, I don't know if they could defend SEC backcourts, athletic SEC backcourts like what they have, what Auburn has, what Alabama has, and they've proven they can do it. That they can stay in front. Those guys may not be the most athletic in the world, but having Wheeler and Washington on the floor together really makes that backcourt quicker, and you can level that a little bit, and then they add stuff offensively. I'm slow to say that this is a team. People in Kentucky are going to say national championship, Final Four team. I try to be slow to that, but I definitely feel like it's a team among a handful that can make a run. I look at this Kentucky team and try to find a glaring weakness, and I don't know that there's one that really sticks out. They play hard. They're a tough team. They're well coached. And obviously, you get the NCAA tournament, it comes down to one game. You have an off night, you go home. But, I definitely feel like it's a team that's going to have something to say about it when March comes along.
Yeah, and then, Coach, overall, do you think the SEC is the best team in the best league in America? Or, I thought it was a significant statement when they won the Big 12 Challenge because the Big 12 is awfully good.
I do. I think some of those teams in the Big 10, that's the only other team that could make a challenge for it. And, I just look at some of those teams that, have winning records or 500 records, and they're not very good in that league. I don't think Michigan's very good. I don't think Wisconsin's very good. I think they would play some teams with similar records in the SEC and get smoked. And even though you have teams struggling in the SEC, and, we mentioned Alabama right now not playing their best ball, LSU. Man, these are still, I think, in the big scheme of things across the country, really good teams. And when you play them, you better be ready to go. If I was Kentucky, I'd be sweating bullets when Alabama goes back to Rupp Arena here in a few days. But I just think these are Tennessee. You mentioned Arkansas. These are really, really good basketball teams. So, man, you get through this thing, it's a gauntlet. And yeah, I would say hands down the SEC is the best league in the country.
Well, and as we're last couple of minutes with you, I'd be remiss because I know you cover them as well. They're coming off of a 20-point annihilation in Coach K's final trip to the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. I wanted to ask you about the first year under Hubert Davis and this transition from a Hall of Famer like Roy Williams. We saw this happen when Coach Smith retired. Bill Guthridge kept it rolling, but then Matt Doherty wasn't a fit, even though he was an alum. They had to go get Roy. It's just year one, but how have you seen Hubert Davis adapt to this head coaching role, and do you think that this is long-term going to work?
I think Hubert, obviously there's growing pains there. I think that's a way with any coach. I mentioned Kirby Smart a while ago, and I remember Vince Dooley when they asked him about Kirby Smart, who first year I think went 8-5, something like that, 7-6, lost to Vanderbilt. They asked Vince Dooley about it, and he said, "Hey, it's growing pains. You learn as a head coach." So, I think Hubert's still kind of in that a little bit. I don't blame him as much as a lot of people do. I just look at the roster. This was the same roster that ran Roy Williams out. And, Roy, I think he would have still liked to coach. But my boss at Tar Heel Illustrated told me was at the game when they lost to Wisconsin, and there was a play in that game where Caleb Love shook off Roy and didn't run the play that he called. And he did that about a month earlier. And Roy, a lot was made about that, and Roy said it won't happen again. Well, it did happen again. And when that play happened, Roy went down to the bench, just put his hands in his head while the game was going on and sat there for about 45 seconds. And I remember Andrew telling me he's done. That's going to do him in, and it did. This roster that they've got now, they picked up a transfer in Brady Manick. He's been their best player. Was Saturday, but this roster ran Roy out the door, and I just think you have to give Hubert time and see if he can bring his players in, because I don't know anybody could coach it. They're front runners. They're good when they're ahead. When they're playing North Carolina State, Boston College, and Sisters of the Poor and people like that, they're good. They can score. There's no kickback against them. But, man, you put them again. They've been blown out 6 out of the 7 games. I mean, absolutely ran out of the gym before it started. You punch them in the mouth, and they go in a fetal position. I mean, they're Michael Spinks against Mike Tyson. So that's the book on them, and nobody around there denies it. And I just don't think they've got the roster that can respond. So they've got one player. Baycott was the only player could start at for Duke or have a chance to start for Duke. You've got to give him a chance just to get his kind of players in. Simeon Wilcher, a top 15 player, they've got committed for 2023. G.G. Jackson's going to be down to North Carolina and Duke. He may be the best player in the class. You just got to see what they can bring in and see if he can get a different kind of players and ones that can compete. Because I would give him a chance till he can get these guys out the door and get new ones.
Well, great stuff. Coach David Sisk on Twitter. Give him a follow. Great basketball mind, and we love talking SEC hoops with him and a little ACC this morning. Coach, we really appreciate it. Let everybody know once again how to follow your work.
Coach David Sisk at Twitter. Please give me a follow. As I said, we're Kentucky rivals and we're North Carolina rivals. So, guys, I always appreciate being here and enjoy it.
Thank you, Coach.
Let's get that break in, and when we come back, we'll get to the phone lines and everything. Wait, David said you're supposed to give a coach time? You got to give him time to adjust? Imagine that. Auburn, listen up. We'll be right back. More Talking Ball after this.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning. Had a wreck on Vermont Road at Chris Drive. That one reported as an injury type. May still be working on it. Looks like that's our only problem right now. Everything else is wide open. Traffic level heavy. You be careful on your ride in this morning. Got a reunion coming up. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with 2030 Fast Track. 2030huntsville.com for info. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on BHHSRiseRealestate.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
And welcome back to Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. All right, Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline is full. Let's get right out to it. Jeff from the Borough up first. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
What a concept. Give the coach time. I wouldn't do Auburn fire Harsin yet, or they done fired him. Did they fire him yet?
Not yet. Not yet. We're waiting.
We're waiting.
Give them time. It'll be in the day. That'd be the third dumb hire they done fired. They made Chisholm, fired Chisholm and Malzahn. So how dumb Auburn administration is. They probably fire Pearl by the end of the week. How Auburn is. They probably fire him next. So, but watch a little bit of the Auburn. Alabama Kentucky game. Kentucky stuck the joint up, but they won enough. So they did enough. And Alabama shot way too many 3-pointers. You don't shoot 30 of them. You drive in there and get 2. You don't shoot 30. You shoot 11. So 11 or 12 or so. But that's just the way it goes. Damian Collins saved the game. I guess he came there and got 10 or 12 points off the bench. Hadn't played much, but Calipari pushed his buttons and he played well. So that's about all I can say about that. So, what do you think about the game?
Jeff.
Way too many threes, huh?
Well, I mean, I thought that wasn't the story. They missed way too many layups. They missed about 15 layups, and I mean, it was shots that had been falling all year. J.D. Davidson missed about 4. Keon Ellis missed a couple. JQ couldn't finish. I mean, and part of that's Kentucky defended well, but I thought Alabama had the looks. I mean, I've seen those shots go down. They just wouldn't go down. And then from the standpoint of the threes, they made 14 out of 37 of them against Auburn and shot a really respectable percentage. They missed 5 or 6 wide open ones. Now, part of the problem that they missed so many is they had the wrong guys shooting them. I'll tell you this right now. I mean, I know he made a few last year, but James Rojas went 0 for 4, and I think 3 of them didn't touch the rim, and I mean in a negative way. He took too many, and then Noah Gurley, he went 0 for 3, and then so you got those two guys going 0 for 7, and they're not 3-point shooters. And then and J.D. Davison struggled a little bit, but he's at least made a few. I mean, he missed, like I said, his deal was he didn't finish his drives, but I thought Alabama missed too many easy layups. I know everybody says they kept shooting the 3, but that's their philosophy. But they just didn't finish at the rim. They shot a historically bad. It was probably the worst shooting performance of that Nate Oates era. But again, part of that was how good Kentucky is. But I'll just say I thought that Alabama just didn't finish at the rim, and that's what they've got to do because when they beat Baylor, they outscored Baylor 42-30 in the paint. But they certainly didn't do that against Kentucky.
Well,
all right, Jeff, thanks for the call, bud.
Whatever you gave me, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. Got to keep moving on. Richard is with us next. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, Richard.
Hey, morning, guys. Good to see you there Saturday, Drew.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
No, since Alabama stunk it up, I'm going to go with a little SEC history here. On this day in 1970 at then Memorial Coliseum, now Coleman, Pistol Pete Maravich scored 69 on Alabama, the SEC record, before three-pointers, and Alabama actually won the game. I think 102 to 101 or either 103 to 102. But like I said, I think he scored 47 the second half or so, or 41 the second half. I mean, that's somebody that you can shoot it. Like I said before, the 3 even. And then after the game, there was a kind of a scuffle with Maravich and the LSU team and some of Bama football players. And so, Maravich kind of went off giving him the number 1 sign as he ran off the court there. So kind of, wild days and, SEC hoops. But so, like I said, Maravich is one of the, the great ones of all time. But, to score 69, was just amazing.
Mm-hmm. He was a great player, maybe the greatest in SEC history, arguably, Richard.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about, Rojas and those guys shooting. Mainly, the power forwards and centers last year for Alabama could shoot a 3, and they can't this year. Basically, you don't have anybody at those two positions. To me, you need 4 guys on the court in the Oates system that can hit a 3, at a decent percentage.
Right.
To make it work.
Agreed.
And you can't, they can't put more than about 3 on the court now. And then sometimes they can't even put 3 out there. You're out there with 1 or 2, which makes it easy for the other team to guard. Out. So.
You're right. You really are, no doubt. But here's the stat for me. J.D. Davison was actually a respectable 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, but he only made 2 for 7 in 2. So he missed like 5 drives, and 3 or 4 of those are drives we've seen him finish all year long. They couldn't finish at the rim, Richard, at all.
Oh yeah. Well, then you miss free throws too. You miss 8 free throws on top
that's right.
of it. So. And the same thing, you had, people like Gary got hurt. I mean, kind of, he shot free throws, but you had the guys almost, you want to shoot free throws shooting them. For Kentucky, would want our guys to, shoot. Gary's a, decent free throw shooter, but he's not Ellis up there. So,
no, sir.
But they basically had the guys that you don't want shooting the ball, which I'm sure is part of their game plan, too.
No doubt.
All right, Richard, thanks for the phone call.
Thanks for the observations, man.
All right, Hunter, if you want to hang around, we'll get to you right after the hour break. It won't be long, but we want to get to your phone calls. Phone lines stay open to you, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We'll kick off hour 2 from Bill Penney Toyota coming up here next, live from the Toyota Service Department.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus, at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends February 28th. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Morgan County now, 36 just west of 231. No report of injury, but there is blockage. Vermont Road near Chris Drive, that one did have an injury reported. Still may be working on clearing it. Snelling has a direct hire position for an experienced materials handler in the Owens Crossroads area. Great benefits. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect a mostly sunny sky. High temperatures will top out in the lower 50s for the afternoon. For your Monday night, a mostly clear sky. Low temperatures bottoming into the mid to upper 20s. And for your Tuesday, we'll see another sunny sky. High temperatures in the lower 50s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Inside of a week now before Super Bowl 56, the LA Rams a 4.5-point favorite over the Cincinnati Bengals after opening at -4. The total has moved down slightly to 48.5 after opening at 49.5. The NHL returning from the All-Star break with 2 games tonight. The Maple Leafs -135 on the money line against the Hurricanes at +115, over under at 6, and the Devils +115 at the Senators at -135, the total set at 6. College basketball in prime time, a battle of ranked teams as Texas, number 23 as of Sunday, will host 10th-ranked Kansas. The Jayhawks a 1-point favorite in Austin. The over-under set at 134.5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We're back at it live from the Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. Get on out here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., if you want your car's vehicles service taken care of, get on out here, Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. A lot still to get to in hour number 2. A lot of it some college football talk, a lot of it some college basketball talk. But it all starts with you, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And I believe we still have Hunter with us. Good morning, Hunter.
Oh, good morning, Scott. Good morning, Drew. How are you guys?
Good, man. Thanks for holding.
Yeah, no problem. I just kind of had a two-part question. One for Auburn basketball.
Yep.
What do y'all think about the close games that Auburn's had recently? You know, with only coming up by 2 on Georgia, and then the close one, I believe it was Missouri that we barely escaped by.
Yeah. On the road at Missouri. Yep.
Exactly. Do y'all just think this is just a new place for Auburn being at number 1, or is this just maybe a slight hint at a downfall? Coming from an Auburn fan,
look, here's the deal. This is the way I look at it. It's very hard to win on the road.
Yes.
Okay? Because I'll give you a perfect example. in about a week, Ole Miss and Florida played twice. Florida went to Ole Miss and they lost by 16, 70-54. Well, this past Saturday in the rematch, Florida played Ole Miss in the O-Dome and they won 62-57 in overtime. It's just it's totally different. And I know, and trust me, I know that Georgia got blown out at home previously by Arkansas. But again, I do think part of it is being number one. You get everybody's best shot, but it's very hard to win on the road.
Yep.
I mean, Alabama went 16-2 last year in the SEC and won a lot of road games, but it ain't. But a lot of them were close. It ain't easy. You got to make big shots. You got to make big plays. And Alabama, by midseason, kind of became the best team in the SEC. So you got a target on your back. So in Auburn's most difficult, arguably, their most difficult conference game is coming up Tuesday. They got to go to Arkansas. Arkansas, I believe, won 8 in a row. They're red hot under Eric Musselman, so it's going to be a crazy environment. But again, I still think Auburn is the best team in the SEC. I still think they're the best team in the country right now. Yes, they probably want to start playing a little more efficiently. But what I do think that I like about them is they respond. They make winning plays. Even I know they've been down 10 a few times, but they always come back. They've got that fabric in them. They're so deep too. Sometimes it's a different guy every night kind of making a play, even though I think Jabari Smith's the best player, but I think the alpha dog is K.D. Johnson.
Right.
He just makes winning plays on both ends of the floor. And so, but again, I just think overall I wouldn't worry too much about the margin of victory. Is they're finding ways to win.
Well, I
think that's going to help.
You look at Missouri. Missouri is an
Missouri just went
awfully
on
good
the road.
basketball program at home. They're a decent program on the road.
They won a road game Saturday.
But they are a really good program at home. Georgia is not a good basketball team, but Georgia plays a little bit differently at home. They beat Memphis at home this year.
They beat Alabama.
They beat Alabama at home
and they nearly beat
year.
Auburn.
And they nearly beat Auburn. So I think, as bad as Georgia is, teams are a lot better and more comfortable when they're at home. And Drew's right. Auburn's going to get the best shot from anybody. You're going to play that game that you haven't played all year when it comes to playing against Auburn.
And I really still like Auburn's team, Hunter. I think they're really deep, really talented. And, again, I know it's concerning a little bit, I guess, that the games are so close, but they're finding ways to win, and that's what you're going to have to do in March. And, again, I don't think they're going to go through the SEC undefeated. I still think they're going to win the league, though. And then they're going to be a big favorite to win the SEC tournament. It's very difficult to do. Alabama pulled it off last year. Auburn certainly is capable of doing that in Tampa. But I just really like this Auburn team. I like what they're made of. I like the way the pieces are fitting. So if they stay healthy, they're going to be very, very difficult to stop.
Yeah, I think y'all hit the answer. I guess the answer right on the head. I mean, I think the best thing Auburn could have done was lock up Bruce Pearl for that many years. And but real quick, last question: all the stuff going on with Auburn football and Harsin. In y'all's just honest opinion, do y'all think he deserves another season? In my opinion, I believe at least he deserves at least one more season. I just think firing a head coach after one season, disregarding all the other rumors or off-field or whatever it may be, I do believe he at least deserves one more shot.
Yes,
I do too.
I agree.
I don't think he's done anything that warrants being fired. He's just trying to run the program the way he sees fit. I think he deserves that chance. Certainly, if it doesn't get much better in the second year, as we've said, Hunter, the timelines have changed. We saw Arkansas make a change, which has worked out good for them, bringing in Sam Pittman. But I do think that, Arkansas gave Morris 2 years. I think Harsin should get a second year as well.
And the thing is, with that Chad Morris situation, that was a really, really, really bad situation. Auburn is not there.
Yeah.
No,
6-7. That's why you have to give them another year because
Chad Morris's 2 years at Arkansas was some of the worst football I've ever seen in the SEC in history.
And Brian Harsin's football has not been.
We're talking
bad.
about Vandy bad, like when Vandy's bad.
We're not,
it was awful.
It's not that bad.
The Auburn thing, Auburn was not that far off. I mean, they were a player 2-3 away. They could have won 8 or 9 games. this is not that bad.
And the thing
so
is,
to me, they need to let him stay for another year.
If the president and everybody, when they're doing all these meetings, and I applaud Brian Harsin.
Yeah.
They asked him to come back from vacation to meet, and he said, "No, I'm on vacation."
Yeah.
I mean, the way Brian Harsin is handling this, it could go one of two ways. Number one, it's going to blow up in Auburn's face if they get rid of him because it's going to set the program back for I don't know how many years. Number two, if they say Brian Harsin is staying, this team is going to be galvanized because they stood for their coach, they fought for their coach, and nothing is going to stop them. I think it could work against what they're trying to do at Auburn to get rid of him if they end up keeping him.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I'm really for Harsin. I like the way he coaches the guys. I really thought it was a lot that the offensive line and some of the leaders of the defense came out and backed him instead of everybody listening to the players that had transferred out. But anyways, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Hunter.
it.
256-576-4977. You want to get in on the conversation this morning, feel free to do so. Talked a lot about the Brian Harsin situation at Auburn. If you got any comments or thoughts on that, feel free to share them. Former Alabama offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis is on the move. Gaddis is leaving Michigan and heading to be the offensive coordinator at the University in Miami. And in a text, this is what Gaddis put to his players. Unfortunately, the past few weeks has told a different story to me about the very little appreciation I have here from administration. In life, I would never advise anyone to be where they are not wanted. That was Josh Gaddis' parting words to his players leaving Michigan to Miami.
I mean, I don't know. He flapped his gums when he left Alabama, too. I mean, I think Gaddis is all about himself. I think he's a self-promoter. I think he's James Franklin Jr. I mean, obviously. I think he did a good job, not a great job at Michigan. I mean, he won the Broyles Award, but then they got their ass blown out by Georgia in the playoff. I mean, what did they do? He didn't do anything. They couldn't move the ball.
Right.
I mean, and I think Mario Cristobal was being methodical and trying to fill out his staff, but I also think he would rather have had Joe Brady and some other guys, but that didn't work out, so he was able to get Josh Gaddis. And now it's interesting because we thought Harbaugh was going back to the NFL, Scott. He did not. He didn't go to the Vikings. He talked to them for 9 hours, and they didn't offer him the job, supposedly. And then he tells Michigan he's coming back, and now he's lost both his coordinators. Defensive coordinator went back to the NFL to the Ravens. Josh Gaddis goes to Miami, so he's having to start over, basically. He's having to hire two. Now,
the boosters at Michigan aren't wanting him fired.
Well, Nick Saban has lost his coordinators before. Who knows? He may lose both of them this year. There's some thought about Pete Golding with his off-the-field issues. I mean, is he going to return? We'll see. And then Bill O'Brien, I think we'll know this week in the coming days as all these assistant coaches' jobs in the NFL are hashed out, whether BOB is going to come back. And I'll just say this on this show right now before we go to JJ on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. This is what I was hearing this weekend, and this is very interesting. And then he nearly hired this guy last year before choosing Bill O'Brien. If Bill O'Brien goes back to the NFL, to the Patriots, for example.
Okay.
Because this guy, it's funny, both of these guys are in the mix for the Patriots offensive coordinator's job.
Yeah.
But it may be the fact that if Bill O'Brien gets it, there's a connection to Nick Saban. Nick Saban gave him his first job at Michigan State as a student assistant and then took him with him to LSU. But Adam Gase could be your next offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I wouldn't be surprised because usually when Nick Saban makes a hire, there's a connection some way. Just like Mel Tucker when he brought Mel Tucker back to coach DBs for a year.
All right, let's get out to that Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. JJ is waking up with us this morning. Good morning, JJ.
Hey, good morning, guys. Dan,
good morning, sir.
And the Five Red Devils.
Yes,
hey,
that's right.
Just wanted to make a comment about the Auburn coaching situation. I'm not an Auburn fan, but credit to you guys mentioned it. Credit to Brian Harsin for saying I'm not coming back from vacation to meet you guys. To me, the whole issue there is boosters, the surrounding, administration and things. You got to let your coach coach. And until they learn to do that and let the guy coach, I mean, Alabama would still be in turmoil had they not let Nick Saban coach. That's all I have to say about that. Now, flip over to Alabama basketball. I got to say, it's probably one of the most frustrating basketball teams I've ever watched. I will say that the effort has gotten better. They out-rebounded Kentucky the other night. That's a sign of effort. I feel like their defense is a little better. The problem is on offense. Because from my observation, I'm not a coach. Hey, but when you have four guys, you have two guys in each corner, you have two guys out on the wing, and they're standing there watching JQ or JD dribble the basketball. That's easy to defend. You're just making it easy on the defense. They're not having to work very hard. And then when you're shooting horrendous, I mean, if I'm the other coach, I'm saying, hey, let them shoot. They're not going to beat us from the field. All you got to do is stay in front of it. But I just feel like that, in the history of run and gun and run and shoot, and gosh, Loyola Marymount, not many teams win national championships running that style of offense unless they're committed to the defensive end, and this team's not.
Well, I mean, and then JJ, I think you bring up some good points. I do think they've been a work in progress defensively. I do think the system works. But as I was told by somebody this weekend that's a prominent basketball mind, sometimes the pieces don't fit. And I think in some ways, like Noah Gurley has not been what they thought he would be. When they signed him out of Furman as a graduate transfer, I think I was picturing 12 points a game, a consistent three-point shooter when he was open, a guy that could, finish around the rim, and he's been very inconsistent. And he's been a disappointment with his perimeter shot. He has just not been what I thought he would be as a player. And then Juwan Gary, I think he got away from his strengths. We saw what he can do against Baylor, but he hasn't done enough of that. Rim running, getting underneath, mixing it up. He doesn't need to be in the corner shooting threes. And we certainly don't need to see James Rojas doing it. You know what I'm saying? Those guys need to be attacking the rim, attacking the paint, like they did against Baylor. They don't need to be what you just talked about, stationary, fogging up threes. That's not what they need to be doing. They need to be playing their role. I mean, I think they had the wrong guys. Jimmy Dike says this a lot when you watch him broadcast. The wrong guys shooting, threes, or the wrong guys taking shots. Alabama had a ton of that against Kentucky on Saturday.
No, I agree with you completely. If your philosophy is 3-point shots or, layups, you got to recruit some sharpshooters. And I just don't feel like, JD, I love JD Davis. I think he's going to be a great player. He's still, his outside shot's a work in progress. But yeah, you got to, recruit some sharpshooters. But, roll tide anyway, guys. But,
and JJ, I'll point this out too, man. I will, it is, but I will point it out about the pieces fitting. Losing Namari Burnett was big because I think he was their best three-point shooter from a percentage standpoint, and he was in practice. And I watched practice. He was also their best perimeter defender, and perimeter defense has been a problem for this group as well.
Absolutely. Hey, they're
Thanks,
still
appreciate it, JJ.
They put it together. See you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. If you want to get in on the show, you can. Obviously, Facebook, a great way to do so as well. Brett Drinkard saying, I think that there are too many hands in the pot, and they need to stop trying to find a way to fire him with cause. The Brian Harsin situation, do you think a replacement will want to go to this dumpster fire? And he says, I also think that more Auburn fans are for Harsin than against him.
Well, I would agree with Brett on that. I think the fans, for the most part, I know they were frustrated with the Iron Bowl, but I think they would rather, especially with the players the leaders, coming forward, and like the Nick Broms of the world, coming forward, and TJ Finley did some media this weekend. I think he did some national radio. They're coming forward trying to, say, look, there were some malcontents here that didn't want to stay, that didn't want to do things the way Harsin wanted to do it. But there's a lot of players here that are behind Coach Harsin. Derek Hall as well, the pass rusher. So, I just think you got to tread lightly here, because you brought it up about it setting Auburn football back a few years if they do this.
How many years it would set them back?
Of course, the counter is, well, if he has another bad year next year, well, still, my point is this.
If he has a bad year next year, you can get rid of him at the end of the season and try to get somebody big. You don't wait until February 7th to make up your mind.
Do is you give him another year, and then if he doesn't do well, you fire the AD, you get a new athletic director, and then you work in concert with him to hire the football coach. They're both on the clock. Okay? I know that's hard, because you'll say, how are you supposed to recruit? But heck, you're already bringing in a coach with what could be a lame duck AD, and with a short time frame to get to spring practice. I'll never forget, Mike Shula, remember, they had to dismiss Mike Price after spring practice. He came in on a short leash with Alabama. He went 3-9 his first year. It was bad, of course, and then it was not good for 4 years.
All right, 256-576-4977, another move that may sound familiar, another name that will sound familiar to Alabama fans. Lance Thompson, set to be the assistant coach at Maryland, according to Pete Thamel. Maryland set to hire Florida Atlantic inside linebacker coach Lance Thompson.
Lance on the move.
headed to Mike Loxley and company there in Maryland. We'll see if he gets there and stays there, because we all know they almost had a defensive coordinator and did not get Kevin Steele in Miami. All right, let's get our final break in, because when we come back, going to bring in our final guest of the morning. Jake Crane will help us delve into Brian Harsin and Auburn. Interesting take from Jake Crane.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in the county. Grimwood and Frank Church, no injury. Westbound 565 to Research Park northbound, 3 vehicles, also a no injury. Gordon and 5th in Decatur had nobody hurt. 36 just west of 231, also a no injury. And we had some injury reported on Vermont Road at Chris Drive. Should be close to clearing. No hoses, no mask. You could ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the info on the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman, or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment, because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Hey man, this is John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church. Hey, whether your own marriage is like 1st and goal on the 1 yard line or you're sitting at 2nd and 26, There's things that can be learned which will help us grow in our marriages and grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married, single, or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Crosspoint Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, or check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Leading the way for sports talk in North Alabama.
Winning is the only thing that matters.
Thank you.
Yes, amen, I say yes.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back to Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you, holding court until 9 a.m. here on a Monday, live from the Bill Penney Toyota Service Department here on the campus of Bill Penney Toyota, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can get a hold of them, 256-837-1111. And we've been talking a lot about the Brian Harsin situation down on the Plains when it comes to his future as head coach of the Auburn Tigers. And just as it is split among probably people wanting Harsin back or people wanting Harsin fired, some people are saying right now that the longer it takes for the situation to go, it's better for Brian Harsin. And there are others that say the longer this situation takes, it just means that Brian Harsin is definitely out as Auburn head coach. I mean, we can't even agree. No one can even agree on that.
Well, I will say this. We can't agree one thing. One of the fastest growing shows in the United States is the J-Boy Show. And, of course, you can get all his content at thejboyshow.com. And he's done an outstanding job. We first hooked up with him personally in Hoover at SEC Media Days. That seems so long ago, but his show continues to grow by leaps and bounds. got an unbelievable YouTube channel that you can check out. But he's been really good to us, and he's now with us this morning. Been a busy morning. He's been doing radio all morning, but we always appreciate his time. And Jake Crane is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jake, welcome back. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you, sir?
Hey, guys, appreciate the intro. Without a doubt, one of my favorite shows to come on. And, yeah, man, it's been a wild ride and a lot going on at Auburn right now with Brian Harsin in this situation, but it's always a pleasure to come on and talk to you guys.
Yeah,
and are you surprised at all of what's going on at Auburn? I mean, does it really ultimately surprise you that the boosters are doing this?
No, look, having covered Auburn, for a decent amount of time now, and obviously I grew up there and had a father that played there. Auburn does things a certain way, so I'm not surprised. Really the way it's gone down, the stuff that was kind of leaked out, the rumors that have gone from one end of the spectrum to the other, I was surprised it was handled that way. Because look, if you're going to get rid of a guy, get rid of him. Don't beat around the bush. It's the optics are so bad, and regardless of what side you're on, if you're pro Brian Harsin, if you're anti Brian Harsin, the real loser in this is Auburn right now.
It is. You're right about that because the timing is very difficult. And I will say this: you've been outspoken. You didn't like the way Derek Mason performed at Auburn this year as a defensive coordinator. I think maybe the fit with some of his staff wasn't right. How did you feel? After you kind of watched Harsin through the entire season, I know you got a chance to speak with him at Hoover. You've had a chance to watch it closely. What went wrong for Brian Harsin? Was it just a case of a bad fit? What do you think from a standpoint of that? How did we get here? I guess is the best way to put it.
Look, you know what? Coming into a new place, the SEC, especially being in the SEC West, I mean, the next step is the NFL. That's the closest thing you're going to get to it. And, when he hired Mason and Bobo, I thought it was a good move to bring in guys that knew the structure of the Southeast, had relationships with high school coaches. Because, look, this game comes down to recruiting. It's recruiting, development, and culture. Those are the three pillars. And not that you can't recruit if you're from the West Coast or the Northeast or the Midwest and in the Southeast. We've seen a lot of guys be able to come in and recruit well, but it just kind of fell off a cliff after they went 6-2. You look at Mike Bobo, a lot of questionable calls. I mean, the fade against Penn State, Auburn, throwing the ball when they were up 10-0 against Alabama there in the fourth quarter after they hadn't been able to complete a pass, even a swing pass for anything really. I just think, some guys are harder to work for, but that doesn't mean that it's not good. I mean, Nick Saban's hard to work for. But my thing is this. At the end of the day, it all falls back on the head coach. And if you notice, not that this is right or I'm taking a side because I'm not. I want all the information to be out there, before I really, really opine on it. But all the chaos that has happened since the season, really after they went 6-2 in Mississippi State and fell off a cliff. I know Bo Nix got hurt. But you add all that chaos with a mediocre season, not beating Alabama, not beating Georgia, losing to Houston in the bowl game, and when it's going bad, the sunshine shines the brightest on the problems. And I feel like the Auburn, higher up saw a chance with everything that was going on and pounced on it. But it's just been a mess all around. I think there's a little bit of blame to go around everywhere.
If ultimately Brian Harsin does not return, I don't want to get into who might they look at, but how far back would this set the program at Auburn for the next coach that does come in?
Or does it set them back? Do you think that it's the right move? That's what I'm interested in that, Jake, because I know you know the program as well as anyone.
Well, from being in the coaching life, I feel like you got to give a guy at least 3 years, even with the transfer portal. I mean, at least 2 years. If he were to go out and go 5-7 next year and the recruiting class wasn't great and they didn't fix the problems on the offensive line and the quarterback position was still a problem, then I think you'd have a lot more to be able to go on. But after 1 year, outside of something, detrimental off the field happening, which there's been a lot of bad stuff, and I'm not giving any credence to any of these crazy rumors. I just won't do it. The only way I will is if something actually comes out that's concrete. But outside of that, I don't know how you expect to convince anybody that you're going to give them a fighting chance if you get rid of a guy after 1 year. And you look, the timing right now, if they were to part ways, the supply's not great. I think it'd really come down to Hugh Freeze, who I know would take it. But, there's a past there, and you just had the basketball deal and everything like that. And then you have, Kevin Steele, which, it makes me nauseous to even bring that up. So I think it would set them back unless they were to be able to go get a Hugh Freeze or a Matt Rule. But, you're having to thread the needle there, and nothing's guaranteed in the coaching world.
You're right. There is nothing guaranteed. We're talking to Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show because Auburn did handle the Bruce Pearl situation flawlessly. Louisville did come calling. They got him locked up for life. But here's my next point, though. The other thing is the uncertain future of A.D. Allen Green because his contract has not been extended. To me, I said this before you came on, Jake, that I would give Harsin another year, and then if he doesn't turn the corner, then you can make a change at A.D. and then bring in a football coach.
Yeah, you have a new president coming in, and it's funny. Everybody always talks about a new AD coming in. Well, he didn't pick, this coach and this and the other. It works that way at the president's office too. Allen Green's not the AD
right.
he chose, but I think they should give Harsin another year. I really do. Again, outside of if there was revelations that became true, that's a different story. That's kind of a different compartment. But yeah, if it doesn't work out the next year, because, Allen Green didn't bring in Bruce Pearl, Allen Green didn't bring in Butch Thompson, and it hadn't been the smoothest relationship. I'll just put it that way. But I do think they should get another year. If you don't do it on the field again, if you have a lot of, transitory problems from a coordinator standpoint, the people that are bringing up players leaving, look, Alabama just lost 17 players. But that's the nature of the beast that we're in right now. That's not a good excuse, in my opinion, with the way that college football is. But I think they should get another year, and if it doesn't work out, and like I said, there's still chaos, then I think you have a lot more grounds to make a move. But my thing is, Drew, to me, the damage is already done, man. If you're Brian Harsin and you come – just imagine that anybody that has a job out there, if you were on the brink of getting let go and it went down like this, and you kind of found out where everybody stood, would you really want to come back and work for that group of people? There's a human element of this too. You got to look at from Brian Harsin's standpoint.
It almost resembles the Tommy Tuberville Jetgate situation when they tried to get Bobby Petrino coming in. If Brian Harsin stays, does he have leverage like that a little bit like Tommy Tuberville did?
Well, I always give the leverage to the guys that write the checks. That's just how the world works.
Yeah, it does.
I think you have to look at them in separate circumstances. What happened with Tommy Tuberville, and Tuberville had a lot bigger sample size. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
that's
right,
true.
But they got caught trying to go get a guy. It's not like they put a bunch of rumors out there or that there was stuff going on that, Tommy's doing this and Tommy's doing that. And Tommy hit the mayor with a wiffle ball bat. Outside of allegations, they're really different things. So I don't really like to compare. But look what it did for Tommy Tuberville. They turned him into Elvis, and then he ended up ended up having a pretty good career at Auburn. So, there are some parallels, but I wouldn't get lost in that comparison.
Well, Jake, I will say the last couple of minutes with you, and we appreciate your time. As you're reading the tea leaves, I know you got your ears to the ground. When will we see a resolution with this Brian Harsin situation? Because, I know with what they're putting him through, it almost seems untenable. I don't know how you go out and recruit, but he's hired some coaches. He still has an OC QB coach that he would like to bring in or another addition to the staff. But when do you think this situation will be resolved?
Yeah. Well, trying to get concrete answers right now is like trying to get concrete answers from the Soviet Union. You're just not going to get them. I think I would be shocked if whichever way it went. And again, I just don't. It's very hard for me to believe that this gets made up and everything's fine. And it's the old White Goodman from Dodgeball. I'm not okay. You're not okay, but that's okay. I don't really see that getting mended. I would be shocked if this went past Wednesday, either way.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be really interesting, and of course the J-Boy Show will be all over it. And again, we want to congratulate you on the growth of the show. It's been tremendous for you and for your career. I know you guys are live from the College Football Hall of Fame each and every day. But let everybody know how they can connect with you. And certainly I know you're going to have some outstanding content coming up.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Drew. Scott, as always, man, like I said, really enjoy coming on. We got a big announcement coming up. We just signed a new deal with a certain new platform that we'll be releasing here in probably a week and a half. You can find us on our YouTube channel. We're going to start going live again once we make this announcement. I've had to move. We're up here in Nashville, so there's a little hint, but we're going to be making a big announcement here soon. But go to the J-Boy Show YouTube channel. We're not under the volume anymore. We're releasing it about 3 in the afternoon. Going to start getting guests back on and going live. Shout out to the Booster Club. That's our live chat. It's the greatest grassroots movement since Scientology. So check us out, and we appreciate it as always.
Well, thank you, and congratulations, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Jay Crane with us. Interesting thoughts there on the Auburn situation and what's going on. And he thinks by Wednesday we will know an answer. So really, some believe it could come today. Some, Jake, believes on Wednesday. So the next 72 hours, hopefully there's a resolution to this, because I think that every day that goes by, I'm not saying it's good or bad for either side. I'm just saying every day that goes by, it's bad for the program because
the uncertainty and the limbo.
Well, in today's world, it's all about social media, and Auburn right now is, let's face it, they are getting killed on social media with this Brian Harsin situation. It does not look good.
TJ Finley talked about that. He's like, there's all this negativity on social media.
Yes.
We're trying to tell you that it's not negative, that the players are behind Coach Harsin. We believe in his program, and they're trying. And I know they said Alan Green met with about 8 players on Friday and just told them, again, to control what they can control. In other words, I don't think there's a lot of clarity to the situation. But again, he's in limbo too.
The players are wanting a meeting with the boosters.
Yeah,
and there's only one former player on the board.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then the players are wanting their chance to come in front of them and say, "Hey, look, this is how we really feel." You're trying to take into consideration these guys that are saying bad things about Coach Harsin. Why not hear some of the positive things that we're telling you that's going on with the program? So it is, I want to say it's Mickey Mouse. It's a bunch of clowns, but I mean, it's almost what you feel like.
It's an untenable situation almost. It's just I don't know how Auburn football goes forward from this, because I think they've got some people that are making decisions that shouldn't be. Yeah. I think the AD should have more power in the situation. We all know boosters hold a lot of influence, but you got to let people do their jobs, and that's basically what Jake Crane just said.
That's what Brian Harsin said too.
And Brian Harsin was quoted saying, "You got to let the head coach run the program instead of letting others do it." So, just not a very good situation right now. But I know we need to take our final break, and we'll have tomorrow's headlines today here live from Bill Penney Toyota when we return to Talkin Ball. Give us a call, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at Governors and Cass Circle. That one's reported with an injury, but it sounds like they're going to pull it off onto a side road to get out of traffic. Got one on Taylor Road at Sutton Road. That one's coming in as an injury type. In fact, sounds like they got more than one injury there. Grimwood Road in Frank Church, no injury on that one. 565 westbound to Research Park northbound may still be trying to clear. 2030 Fast Track can make your clothes fall off. Allison lost 100 pounds in 7 months on the plan. A free hormone quiz will tell you if the program can work for you. 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. It is your tomorrow's headlines today here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And a couple big national, not big national, but a couple national takes here. Major League Baseball over the weekend. Major League Baseball, the the Major League Baseball owners have reached out and said, hey, we want a mediator to help step in and facilitate this. The Players Union has said, no, we don't need a mediator. So they can't even agree on that right now. So that is
spring training ain't starting on time.
That is where Major League Baseball is there. The players say they have made a fair and counter proposal to the union, and the union has not done anything. So right now they are no closer to getting anything established there as far as Major League Baseball goes. And yesterday was your favorite All-Star game. That was the Pro Bowl.
Good Lord,
your
what a joke.
Your favorite All-Star
Nothing
event.
like half-speed football.
The Pro Bowl. Deion Sanders not happy with it either.
Oh, Lord, I saw that tweet.
Prime Time put out there yesterday saying, Lord help him. I'm watching the NFL Pro Bowl, and I remember when we were so proud and appreciative of the accolade. We went to Hawaii to prove we were more than worthy, so we competed at practice and in the game. I wanted you to know that, in all caps, prime was prime. What happened and when?
It's disgusting. I just like Mac Jones, he had some sort of long touchdown run where they tried to touch him down with two hands, didn't even really try to tackle him, and he did the gritty on into the end zone. I mean, I don't – how is that real football?
I don't know. I think he was down. Did they call him down beforehand?
I don't know. And then you got guys like Trevon Diggs going to receiver and his brother Stephon covering. I mean, it's a mockery of the game is what it is. It really is.
Yeah.
It's I mean, just have a gala. John Madden already has given you the platform when he used to do the All-Madden team.
Yeah.
Just have somebody announce the All-Pro team at some kind of gala where you put on monkey suits, and you put on tuxedos, and you go, and then you announce the All-Pro team. Okay? Fly them to Hawaii at some resort and put it on TV, and then just announce who's All-Pro.
Right.
Don't play a game. It's a joke. Nobody wants to play in it anyway. I mean, it's now
you
played.
Don't get your Super Bowl teams because they're in the
and
Super
do it
Bowl
the week after the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
so the people that are taking place in it can play in it. Now they have the Pro Bowl the week before the Super Bowl. All these cats like Aaron Donald, they're not playing in it. I mean, hello,
Matt Stafford.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean the Tom Brady's of the
Burrow.
world. I mean, it's always like Pro Bowl alternates. I mean. Good Lord. I mean, it's a joke. It's like it's worse than flag football, man. I mean, it's awful.
I was laughing so hard on Saturday because I knew you would. I was like, I was telling them, like, this is Drew's favorite. I
don't even watch the Senior Bowl just because. Here's my thing.
And that was all that leads us into that. The Senior Bowl was played in Mobile. It did wrap up a good week of practices for a lot of guys. A lot of guys got good looks down there at the Senior Bowl, and the game was played on Saturday. I believe this was the first year for it at Whitcock Handy Stadium.
South Alabama's new facility.
And they like it down there because they were able to do indoor practices, outdoor practices right next to each other. They didn't have to bus the teams from school to school and everything. So everything was right there on one campus. It went off without a hitch. It was a good weekend for the Senior Bowl, and Jim Nagy and company, a lot of good heads. But, yeah, it's one of those things where the game doesn't mean much because what the NFL executives watch and everything comes in practices.
Yeah, they watch practice, man. That's where the most important thing is. So I'm not saying that the game's not important. I just say I don't watch it. Now, you can still perform well, and it's actually real football, but I've just never been much for the all-star games. I do think the week of practice is the most important part of it, where you go out and you compete every day.
Yeah.
And you scrimmage and you make plays against other great competition. That's the most important part. And the Senior Bowl, again, I don't blame them for playing the game. Not my cup of tea. Just like the USFL is never going to be my cup of tea. Any freaking spring football league is just crap. I mean, I just can't stand it. That's not when you play football. You just have spring practice. You don't have real football. I wish they'd stop that.
But is that the college mentality that we have? Is that why we don't want to accept the fact that there could be professional spring football?
It's never going to work. Nobody cares about it, man. They worry about football during football season. Then you worry about basketball. Then you worry about baseball, softball, whatever. It's seasonal. That's why they call it a season. There is no football spring season. It's called bad football, guys that suck.
Greg Gabriel, 30. He's a guy, 30-plus years of NFL scouting, 9 years of scouting director, has a big-time podcast, says if the league is going to try to continue to play the Pro Bowl like they did yesterday, then just stop the game. That was embarrassing. They would be better off just naming the Pro Bowl teams and call it a day.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, sir. That's exactly what should happen. I mean, my goodness. Good Lord rest his soul, but they should have been doing this for years and having John Madden MC it. And now he's no longer with us, but my goodness. Get Frank Caliendo to imitate him and do it, for God's sake.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pro Bowl, I will safely say I have never watched even a quarter of the Pro Bowl. It is brutality. That's even during the years of Deion Sanders, okay? I've never thought these All-Star games were worth a crap. The only two that I've ever enjoyed watching were the NBA at times during the golden era in the 90s, and then, of course, the MLB All-Star game. And the closest to a real game is the MLB All-Star game to me. I mean, I think
it is as close as you can come. Yeah,
because in the NBA,
because it's really hard though to throw in the towel and cheapen.
They don't
the
play
baseball
defense
game.
in the NBA anyway, but they really don't play it during an All-Star game.
No, they don't.
They don't.
I mean, because you don't see pitchers out there throwing 60-mile-an-hour fastballs and letting them just lob one over the fence. I mean, they actually do try a little bit.
You don't see them underhanding the ball or Ephus pitching the ball or whatever. They respect the game and they still play it, and But again, it's just I've never been a huge All-Star game advocate. I just think it's ridiculous.
All right, and always love doing this because when it's something that makes me laugh, it's fun. 48 years ago today, Drew, 1974.
Here we go.
Yep, Blazing Saddles premiered in theaters.
Never seen it.
Oh my goodness.
Never seen it.
Oh, my goodness. That is one you need to watch.
No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Never have seen Blazing Saddles.
Never.
Wow.
Well, I'm just being honest with you.
I know. I appreciate that. That's good, but Blazing Saddles, 256-576-4977. You can let Drew know what he's missing by not seeing Blazing Saddles.
I'm just being honest with you.
It's a good movie.
I'm not saying it's not.
I know. I'm just saying that that is one that you need to watch. Put in the archives and watch Blazing Saddles. All right. As the week goes along, we will do our best to keep you updated on the situation down on the plains. Make sure you stay 97.7 ESPN The Zone on Twitter as well as Facebook, as we will update you as soon as we know anything that is coming on. Don't forget the Olympics is ongoing in Japan. Have you paid any attention to the Olympics at all? Yeah, me neither. I have not seen one second of the Olympics. It's
yeah.
And
that would be a no.
And it does look like the Miami Dolphins have found their next head coach, and he is just getting memed and mocked on social media.
He is
all over the place. But it does look like the Miami Dolphins have their next head coach.
Yeah, the OC, it's Mike McDaniel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator of the He looks like a nerd, quite frankly. I did watch the press
Let's
conference.
just call it what it is.
Yeah, he's a wonderkind, and he did a great job with the San Francisco 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, and he has been hired as the new head football coach of the Miami Dolphins.
All right, that's going to do it for our 2 hours of fun here live from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. 256-837-1111 if you want to get your car serviced out here at Bill Penney, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Been fun.
It has been fun. Love Bill Penney Toyota. Love Jake Crane. Congrats on his success. Coach David Sisk, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 7:01 a.m. Everybody, stay warm. Have a great rest of your Monday.
All right, guys. We'll see you back at it. Don't forget Tom Abraham Show. Is Tom back this week?
I guess. He's finally not fishing or talking to the swamp people.
Katie Britt is a Christian conservative